you're here. I know what you've been doing. I know why you hardly sleep, why you live alone, and why night after night you sit at your computer looking for him. I know because I was once looking for the same thing. And when he found me, he told me that I wasn't really looking for him. I was looking for an answer. It's the question that drives us. It's the question that brought you here. You know the question, just as I did. What is life? So, yeah, that's obviously from the movie The Matrix. And it's an interesting idea. The philosophy in that movie is just amazing. You know, it's deep. And yeah, what is life? What are we doing here? What is life? What does it mean to be a human being? And what are we all seeking for? It's like in one way or another, we're looking for something, seeking for something, and it's not just satisfaction. It's not just dopamine. What are we looking for? What are we doing? What are we doing down here on this planet? What the heck are we doing? You know? And what are we doing here? What are we seeking for? You know, when you go to church or you go to school and you go to parties and do all these things that you're supposed to do, get an education, have all these friends, have 1,000, 10,000 friends on Facebook or whatever, all these things that you're supposed to do and do properly and make a certain amount of money and everything, and you look at it and something about it seems fake, and you're like, what is all this? It kind of seems fake, kind of seems like a virtual reality, like a bad virtual reality TV show that you're not in on. It's like a reality TV show that you're not in on. You don't know about it, but it's happening. What the heck is this? What the hell is this simulated reality? You know? And you wake up in the morning and you got to go to your job or school, and you kind of don't really want to. You're like, why am I going to school? Why am I going to this job? I don't really want to. I don't really, whatever, you know? But you do it anyway because you're supposed to do it. And life definitely isn't heaven, and it definitely isn't hell, but it's somewhere in between, and it kind of can shift a little bit closer to heaven sometimes and closer to hell other times, right? Depending on your life situation and such. And so what is the point of everything? And the point of everything, to bring it all down to a simple one main thing, and it's really I learned this from a guru named Swami 𝐀𝐛𝐨𝐮𝐭. And I think he lives in America, the Americas, the United States. And a very cool guy. I think he grew up, he was, grew up in a white male in a white family in the States. And he grew up Christian, I do believe, but he eventually got sucked into the yoga world and found a real yogi, a master guru, and learned from him, took initiations from him, and grew up, spent 40 years, 50 years underneath this guy, and has an ashram in the States somewhere. Very cool. Very, very wise. Very wise, amazing person. Amazing. And what his answer is to this is we're here to grow. That's it. One word. We're here to grow. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense. We're here to grow. In the large scheme of everything, we're here to grow. And what do I mean by the large scheme? Well, the large scheme is, people like to simplify complicated things, because some things that are so complicated and so vast, it hurts your brain to imagine them. So we like to dumb them down and simplify them. Sometimes it's good to simplify things, because part of the human experience is we make things too complicated. But some things in nature are actually immensely vast, beyond our wildest dreams, beyond what we can fathom. And the whole scheme of life is one of those things it's so far beyond what we can fathom. And that's in every way. So imagine some religions try to simplify things like, oh, if you just believe in God, then you'll go to heaven and you won't go to hell, and try to be a good person. And that's it. Simple. But it's more complicated than that, folks. Way more complicated. Imagine that there are countless realms. So when you die, if you've evolved a little bit, you might go to another realm. Another sort of like another planet, but it's another realm. Could be here, could be somewhere else. And then if you evolve, you go to another higher plane, right? If you evolve spiritually. And then from there, if those people evolve, they go to yet another higher spiritual plane. And imagine that goes on infinitely. And we're all little beings that evolve. Like, you'll have realms that are just like elements, rocks, water, earth, plants. And those are all beings that slowly evolve over thousands of years. Then you have like our realm, which we have bugs, animals, humans, all sorts of beings. Everything has a soul. Even the planets have a soul. So it's a long game. It's a very long game. Imagine countless realms where you slowly evolve. And yeah. So the point of life is to grow. It sucks, kind of, because generally growing can be like a painful process. It's usually change, and growth is usually uncomfortable, right? But that's the point of life, to grow. And the matrix is that we feel cut off from God and the source, because that's part of the video game. That's part of the role-playing, virtual reality role-playing video game that we're in. And when you incarnate into a human body, part of the agreement is that your memory is wiped. So it feels real, and it is real. It's very real. But there's brief interludes between lives, and you evolve from, like a bug into like a small animal to a bigger animal through thousands of lives into human. And once you're human, you basically stay human. Usually you stay human. You keep coming back as human for another a few thousands of lives or whatever, right? And yeah, I could go on forever, but let's like and subscribe. Yes. But yeah, so the meaning of life is just to, I know it's like during the dark moments, when life swerves more to the hell zone than less to the heaven zone, but swerves more to the darkness and the hell zone, you feel more alone. And you feel cut off. And that feeling of aloneness and cut off, it could be just because you are physically isolating. And in this day and age, it's happening more and more often. Even though there's more people on the planet, isolation is it's becoming more of a serious issue, especially after the 2020 incidences you know of. even before then, isolation was an issue. But we're talking spiritually or philosophically now. Feeling alone, you can have lots of friends and still feel alone. I heard this one amazing quote. What was it? I don't remember. It was about someone. You can be surrounded by tons of people and tons of friends, but if you don't relate and connect to them on certain topics and certain things, if you don't really feel and really connect with them, then you'll feel alone. So it's about connecting. It's about connecting with topics and things that you really love and that you're really into, and that human connection on those similar topics. That's when you'll feel seen more so, right? But the aloneness it's the further you get to the hell side and further away from the heavenly side, you're going to feel more disconnection and aloneness. And it's kind of like a built-in human thing. Like we all kind of feel it, a disconnection, So the further we get away from nature, we'll feel more disconnected. Nature is a part of our soul, is in nature. So when you take that and you separate yourself from it, from sunlight and from fresh air and from being near the earth, it's this being of the earth. You want to be closer and closer to it, and you'll feel more connected. And as part of the sort of the agreement when you incarnate, that you forget everything, your memory's wiped, and you're going to feel disconnected. But that's kind of part of the plan, it's part of the growth period. It's like a teenager that has to psychologically separate from their parents. That's part of the growth period. And that's similar to incarnating. You have to feel separate from the Creator, the Almighty, and God, the great source. But just imagine it's a video game, and it is, in a way. And deep in the core, we are still connected, and deep in your core and your spirit, we are enlightened. It's just that, we're kind of, sort of, the ego is like a cover that separates us from our true self, our true spirit, and our connection to everything and everything else. So the whole process is about growing spiritually or mentally or physically or whatever. You're growing, you're expanding. And you could feel the desire to grow when you want to add things to your life. You want to add experiences, you want to add knowledge, you want to add money, you want to add status, you want to add friends and people. You always want to add, right? And that is the problem with that is it comes from a desire. In a way, it comes from a desire that is the basic desire to grow and expand. And that is your soul trying to grow and expand and connect. But the one big issue with that is you're looking outside of yourself. You're looking externally to grow and expand. And that's the it's not a mistake, but it's kind of like it's going in the wrong direction. You have the polarization of, on one end, more hellish lifestyle, and then on the other end, more heavenly experience. So when you're leaning too much on the external for growth and expansion, then you're going to fall more towards you're getting colder instead of warmer. You're going the wrong direction, really. So how do you turn that around? Go internal. Instead of trying to get all of your fulfillment externally, you got to journey inwards and look for fulfillment internally. And then work on that area, growth in that area. And that's the meaning. That's the matrix. And also the matrix is really just this is a virtual reality of extremely real virtual reality game with life and God. God is like the cosmic dancer. There's a depiction of God in Hinduism called Nataraja, Lord Nataraja, or Lord Nataraj, and that's one of the most famous, more current kind of faces of God or images. And anyway, it's I could get into that one image. It's very cool. It's very symbolic. Each part of the image is extremely symbolic and just amazing. Anyway, like and subscribe. I'll wrap that up. And yeah, have a nice day. Cheers. Peace.